got my head in the clouds and my feet on the ground. I got big dreams, gonna make them true.
Hey, this is Toby here at the GeniusLab, your self-empowerment station where we help you realize your greatness. Today we are going to talk about past choices, anchor or fuel. And this is all in my new book, Release Your Shit and Reclaim Your Power. And it will be released soon. You will be able to find it on tobychristensen.com and you will find it on Amazon. So, hey, here's the deal. How many times have you made choices in the past and you're like down the road a year, 2 years, whenever, 5 years, whenever it catches up to you, all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, man, I was so stupid, right? Well, you know, if you're like me, you've got a lot of those to pick from in your life. And you know, one of the biggest struggles that I had was like, how do I undo the shit that I did? And the truth is you can't undo anything. What happened has happened. It's in the past. Sometimes it sneaks up into your present, especially if you run for office. It's funny how all that stuff gets dug back up. So basically you have an option. You have an option of either allowing the past choices that you've made to be an anchor and hold you back. And I hear it all the time. I can't possibly do that. Do you know what I did in my life? What if anybody finds out? So fucking what, right? It's in your past. I remember hearing a politician say, dude, that was 20 years ago. I'm a completely different person now. Here's my record in the last 10 years. If you want to dwell on what happened back then, knock yourself out. Don't vote for me. But if you want to see where I am now and you want to see the things that I'm making happen now, let's stick with the present time, right? Everybody changes, everybody evolves, everybody learns. Well, not everybody, but we certainly hope they do. Myself included. So, you know, your past choices can be really difficult to own. And one of the things that I've worked with in my therapy work is women who have had abortions. And, you know, judge not lest ye be judged, you know, I'm sorry. But I really get pissed off when people do a full-on judgment on this situation because I see the struggle that these people have. I see what they live with. And owning your choice can be one of the most difficult things to own. And so the thing we want to do is, in my world of self-empowerment, is we want to help you. Okay, if you totally fucked up and you feel right now like you made the worst decision possible, okay, you made the worst decision possible. Probably not, but it might feel like it. And now it's time to move on. And owning your choice is really tough sometimes. But you have to ask yourself, are you going to allow the choice to be an anchor that holds you back, or are you going to use it to propel yourself forward to victory? Use it as a lesson, right? Okay, I had this experience. It really sucked. I made a decision that I regret now. I can't change that decision, but I can use it as wisdom to make better decisions in the future. Yes, now that's what we want to hear. Deciding which way you're going to go on this is one of the biggest and most important choices you'll ever make in your life. If you move forward, if you release the shit that you've been holding, that's been holding you back, and you start to move forward and you use these decisions that you made, good, bad, or otherwise, as fuel to move forward, you will be self-empowered and unstoppable, guaranteed. If you let you know, the key there is you need to release the guilt, shame, despair, and defeat that's around that. On the other hand, if you want to use them as an anchor and punish yourself and beat yourself up for them, then, you know, fuck, you might as well just quit life right now. I don't mean like quit your life, but I mean just like don't move, get a job at McDonald's flipping burgers and don't challenge yourself at all. Because if you're going to live with an anchor around your neck, it's just fucking hard. Like everything is hard. And anytime good things come to you, you sabotage them so that, you know, things don't get too good, right? Because you don't deserve it, right? That is such bullshit. People that come to my workshop, Release Your Shit and Reclaim Your Power, I always tell them, if you're gonna keep your shit as an anchor and you're gonna use it for self-pity, because we do a lot of these workshops on the island of Kauai, which is one of my favorite places. I said, I'm just going to take you down to Secrets Beach. I'm going to drop you off with a case of beer and a bottle of rum. There's no point continuing the workshop. But, and there's no value in beating yourself up. I mean, things have happened. They've happened. I mean, everyone in the entire universe, anyone that is human being has made errors, has made bad choices. I remember a girlfriend that I had back in my 30s. Really, really super sweet girl, super nice. And it was a very dark time in my life. I was steeped in money making and drug addiction and over grooviness all at the same time. I was so impressed with myself. It was ridiculous. And I did not treat her very well. Actually, I treated her horribly. And that's not my MO. Usually I'm really nice to people. And this particular case, I was a dick. I regretted that relationship once I got my head out of the cocaine and got my head back in the game. I didn't let my decisions become an anchor, but I did maybe overuse them to flog myself from time to time. And I always thought, if I ever have the opportunity to meet this woman again, man, I owe her an apology, but I don't know how I would ever find her. And one evening, I was shopping at Nordstrom, trying to find a particular brand of pants. And I walked up to the counter, and there was a young lady standing there, and I looked at her, and I'm like, oh my God. And it was her. And what was beautiful, it was that I got the opportunity to apologize and let her know the dark time that I was in my life, the drug addiction that had gripped me. And that from that time it must have been like 10 years later, I apologized and let her know that I had thought about that over and over and over again. And what was so funny is that it didn't have the impact on her, me not treating her right. She said, I don't remember that you didn't treat me well. I mean, the breakup sucked, but, it wasn't the same as it was for me. So being able to reconcile that was really powerful. And number two, realizing that I didn't have as negative of impact as what I thought, kind of eased the pain as well. So one of the things that's really important that I would encourage you to do in the coming week is look at the things that hold you back. What are the things when you're moving into a new situation? What are the things that trigger, that come up, that scream to you, oh my God, if you do this, it's going to be just like this other situation. Okay? And the thing that's important to realize is that it's not. Okay? That situation is done and gone. The only way it gets repeated is for you to bring that energy up into a current situation. Your other option is to be in the now, be fresh, be new. Use those situations as wisdom, nuggets of wisdom that like, oh yeah, I remember when I was a dick and I treated people like shit, that this and this and this happened. So you know what? If I treat this situation differently, I'm going to get a different outcome. Okay? So when you grasp a new reality, you get a new outcome. If you drag the reality of the past into the present time, you're going to keep getting the same result you got in the past. And if that result in the past sucked, you're going to get more sucky results. Okay? So what we want to do is let that shit go, be in the present time, be clear on your desired outcome, be clear on your strategy for moving forward, and then release yourself from the shit of the past, reclaim your power, and then make decisions. You'll read in my book that I talk about power positive and power negative moves. Use power positive moves that inspire you, that move you towards your desired outcome, that get you the results that you want to get. These are the things that are important. As long as you drag the past in, you're going to repeat that. Okay? Energy attracts like energy. So if you had a particular result in the past by doing a certain thing, you bring it into present time and keep remembering that, you're going to get the exact same result that you got then. Now, if you let that go and you learn from it, you bring a different energy in, and guess what? You get a different result. So this is a really powerful lesson that really changes everything. This is a turning point, both in the training and in the book and in your life. I mean, just listening to this podcast, if you apply this one thing and you never listen to another podcast, you never read the book, you never go to the workshop, this one thing, this making the decision whether your past decisions are going to be an anchor to hold you back or fuel to move you forward, is an absolute game changer. So think about the things that you worry about. Think about the things that you blame yourself about. And if you have a hard time figuring that out, here's a real easy thing. What are the things you criticize other people for? Ooh, ouch. Okay? What you criticize other people for are usually things about yourself that are being reflected back to you. Okay? Sorry, Psychology 101, okay? Whatever pisses you off is something about you that's being reflected back to you. So, what do you judge people for? And if you judge them for something, okay, and it could be, they do things out of integrity, okay? That's one of my things, right? Why? Because for so many years I did shit out of integrity. I said stuff and I just did whatever served my purpose. So I have had a lot of bad feelings about that. And the thing about this work, it's really freed me from having to repeat that. And but it's definitely a hot button because I see so many people. They always say sometimes it's not so good to get to know your teacher on a personal level because you find out who they really are. And boy, that is true. I have had my dreams dashed as far as many, many celebrities that I've had the opportunity to meet, a lot of self-help gurus that I thought they really lived their teaching, and found out after hanging with them for a while on a personal level that it was really quite a disappointment, let's just say. So one of the things that I did was, as I was working through this material, is I'm looking at, okay, so what do I criticize people for? When did I do that? Okay. And I look at like, oh man, I lied and cheated in business. I did all this stuff. Now I get why when they lie and cheat or when they say things that aren't completely truthful, why I get so pissed off. And what it allows me to do is, number one, it allows me to forgive myself for those things that I did back in those days. It helps me behave differently today. And then it helps me forgive the person that I'm criticizing. And all this is internal, of course. And so it allows me to forgive them before I go off on them and give them a rant. Because the truth is, most of the time I'm just projecting my own shit onto them. So if I can use my shit as fuel to move forward, then I can forgive myself. And I can forgive those people who I have a tendency to expect a lot of. And I do expect a lot of my friends and my business associates. I mean, energy attracts like energy. I don't want to be around a bunch of lying schmucks. So I do pay attention to it. And if somebody is still at the point where they're not learning the lessons that I have had the pleasure and pain of learning, I don't necessarily want to hang in that energy, because that can also become an anchor where other people around you relive your past actions and trigger that shit, and it keeps you down. So I don't want to completely let people off the hook who are dicks, but I want to allow you to forgive yourself, realize where you want to be today, and then move forward from that. The thing over and over again, you'll hear it, what you focus on, you feed. I say it 1 million times a year, right? And that is, know your core values, know your core beliefs, know your mission. If you know those things, you will always keep in alignment with your desired outcomes. You will make decisions that are good. You will make decisions that are helpful, and life will be fantastic. All right? We're all about self-empowerment here. So use your past choices as fuel to move forward. That's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day and do something good for somebody. That's it. Have a great one.